Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games.
Boycott Spyro. Boycott Spyro. Sure, he looks like an innocent dragon, but he breathes fire. He's napalm on 4 scaly legs. And he headbutts. Just look what he did to me. What? Barbecue. Ow! What'd you do that for?
PlayStation.
Hey guys, welcome to the Podtendo podcast, where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. I've been doing so for the last 10 years. Look at that, wow. Review pop culture, let's play retrospective show. I am your co-host Mick, and I'm joined by...
Tyson.
Look at that. What a great intro. Good intro. Last show of 2025. Way to bring some energy. Good job, guys. Yeah, really pushing.
Yeah.
Woo. So,
Really stepped it up a notch.
really stepped it up. So we survived our year. That was what we play, I guess, in our free time on Podtendo and playing games. So we're back with another game, last number 2 of the year. And I think the next one is like a top 10 list kind of thing in the new year. And then we have another game. So a little bit of a break for a little bit. And like you said, we are playing. Well, maybe we'll say, like, how's it going? How's your year? Good? Happy?
Good. Well, I mean, this was a very weird year. But I feel like every year since like 2018, 2019 has been a weird year.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a year. It's in the books. Good year for gaming. All in all, good year for gaming. A little disappointed by the movies and TV shows, but
Sure. Well, but it's all very cyclical, and really, unfortunately, capitalism exists and greed, and it's about making products, right? I say one of my greatest gripes with, like, cars, why don't we have just a car that works? Like, just a good car, right? If we were really smart and we were really dedicated and, like, truly not evil creatures, like, we would have just made a car at this point that just works all the time. It's very efficient, drives straight, it very rarely breaks down, because we made the most efficient car. But because capitalism exists, everyone's like, oh, look at all these different cars. Not only that, but the government at one point was like, hey, we could build infrastructure and like trains and like support it and use taxes and be like responsible for how people commute around our countries and cities. Or we can make them all be like rich people. And what if they take care of the trains and the cars that they drive around, and they have little buses that they take with them, and we just build roads? It's so much easier. We just one-time investment, put a road down, they drive the car.
yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all, that's why cars exist. It really bothers me. It's terrible. So why are we talking about cars?
We were talking about how we wish things would just work.
That's
things
it.
are better.
That's it. So sorry, it's cyclical.
I was gonna say,
I think we're at a spot.
If you want something to work, just buy a Honda Civic. I'm telling you, man.
Okay,
Honda
that's a rant I have in my head that sometimes comes out. Sorry. I think we're getting to a point in gaming, and you're seeing that where people are wanting just products that work, finished products that are excellent, that are from a singular kind of vision that goes somewhere. Like if you look at the game of the year, Clair Obscur, guys, it was just simple and clean. It worked right off the start, and that's what people liked about it. There was no like, oh, day one patch updates and like, oh, we rushed out Cyberpunk. Great. Why are we announcing these games so far in advance? Like, if people just start saying, hey guys, look, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out, and it works day one. Like Rockstar, it's launching, you pick it up, you download it, you start playing it, it is the finished product. Who cares how long it takes, right? And I'm hoping this is kind of what we saw this year, was just like these little studios, right? Like Silksong coming out and being $20 and everyone and their dog buying it, and it being this massive game because they were like, yeah, but it only costs $20. Like, everyone should be able to play this game. It's not about money. The fact that we saw some good people, some good companies, the fact that there are some, like, just decent people, right, in this big industry that usually kind of sucks up and kills the little guys. It's awesome. And I think I'm hoping that's kind of the trend we're seeing. And in terms of movies and TV, I don't think we're at that point yet. It might have to get, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's dips and highs, and, like, I think with some of that other media might have to go down. But I think video games hopefully are trending upwards until all the studios get, like, sold and bought by the bigger guys. And then we're like, great. That's what we need. conglomerates.
Everything's owned by Netflix and Disney.
Yeah,
Hooray.
yeah, perfect. That sounds great.
Yeah,
it worked great in Wall-E. So
I think the thing about video games specifically is an indie studio can come together with a passion, work hard, put all their effort into it, and that's why like Clair Obscur is just like this game that we want to sing its praises to, because it's like this is this company's first game created by a passion project that was literally just an independent studio. They spent like $10 million making this game, and it was highly recognized. People loved it. It was very like interesting, did a very unique something very unique, whereas I think Call of Duty's budget was $700 million.
But like, how much of that though is we need to gouge people? We need to make microtransactions. We need to invest this. We have to make sure that this, and they add so much probably back end bullshit nonsense.
Oh, this is a side tangent talking about Call of Duty. They discovered, when people have like Call of Duty on their hard drives or whatever, since you got limited space, like your Call of Duty games, like something like 300, 400 gigabytes. What they discovered after somebody did like a deep dive is they were literally just building whole worlds, like whole big old cities somewhere far off in the map, so that it would eat up just space in your hard drive. Like, it has 0 point in being there. It doesn't actually need to be there, but the only game you can install on your hard drive is Call of Duty. So you're only going to play Call of Duty. It's like, wow, what a really shady dick thing to do.
Well, and like you said, like these like 300, how much of that is actual game, and how much of that other stuff is like making sure that we can tap, so that we listen to what you're saying, so that we can help divert, like target marketing towards you, and like take this and do, and like all these other back end shady things that you're like, that's skeevy. So I'm glad that hopefully we're turning away from that, and I would love everyone to put their phone down and stop putting microtransactions. Just stop it. Like, we know it's bad, but people also knew smoking was bad, and they still did it. So
support indie developers, because indie developers are starting a trend that I hope carries into other aspects of the world.
I bought Silksong on both my Switch 2 and my PS5 specifically for that reason. I was like, Team Cherry deserves an extra $25, to be honest with you. Like, I think they do really good work. I bought Clair Obscur not on sale. Like, I bought it full price for that reason too, to support those things. So it's just little stuff that you guys can help, right? And wait. Yeah. If you could wait, want to play Call of Duty, wait a month, it goes down in price, then buy it, right? Take away from the big bad companies, support the little guys.
Yeah. We've always preached this, like, speak with your wallet, put your money where your mouth is, because that's where people actually listen. So, it's I don't know how we got on this tangent about indie stuff, but yeah,
you were kind of just saying it was a good year in gaming, and I kind of wanted to say, and you're like, the other guys are bad, and I kind of was like, I think this is why. I think we're seeing that, right? Like, in my mind, my two favorite spoilers maybe, some of my favorite games of the year. Although I don't think actually, we might have recorded our year-end show before this. That's maybe why we have like year stuff like that on our mind. We'll see. We'll see what I said was my game of the year. Anyways, on to the game today. Hey, we did a tangent. That was kind of on topic. Well,
sort of
relevant to video games. It wasn't like we were arguing about
politics. We weren't arguing about politics.
What
we were
was
just
the best South Park episode? I was like, no, the Chewbacca one was funnier. The Chewbacca, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. Or how Tyson was disappointed with 28 years later.
Well, don't spoil the whole podcast. I was like, that's like at least 20 minutes of that 40-minute show. Spyro the Dragon. It was developed by Insomniac Games. It sold 4.8 million copies. That's so many copies. It was released September 10th, 1998. I know you guys, you wanted that extra date, but no, so just September 10th. How Long to Beat has this game at 6 to 9 hours for the main story, and if you want to do 120% completion, it takes about 10 to 12 hours. Awesome. On eBay, a copy of the original. You can get greatest hits for $32. Look at that. And then to play this little guy, you need an original disc, but don't worry. The Reignited trilogy is now available on everything. And you can probably get all the Crash games, too. And it'll probably cost you $20. Or use an emulator. But the Reignited trilogy is nicer.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
And funny. We were talking about Call of Duty. So this game was also, like, the Reignited trilogy was made by Toys. Toys by Bob. who now make Call of Duty like the battle royale,
Oh yeah.
which is like, how do you go from Spyro to Call of Duty? Sure, that makes sense.
Well,
Well,
we'll-
when you're owned by Activision, yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
do what they say
Well,
because they're cutting your check.
I was gonna say, and I mean, some of the early work that the studio did was on first-person shooters, right? So Spiral was kind of the third attempt. We'll get into that in the development details. Oh, before we do that, I was like kind of burping, and I don't know what that was. Oh, it's still there. We have to jump into our patented Wayback Machine and see what does. Remember, I said pop culture. What does a pop cultural landscape look like when this game was released? So September 10th, 1998. I know you guys. I know you saw the little sheep commercials. They were everywhere. But you maybe didn't play the game, but you saw the sheep. So top TV shows back in September 1998 were ER, Friends, Frasier, Monday Night Football, Veronica's Closet, and Jess.
Oof, that's some TV shows.
Yeah.
Maybe TV's just not good.
I mean, back in the day, like ER was, and Friends, I mean, they're pretty seminal still, and Monday Night Football, so.
We all watched the first season of ER when it came out. Let's
Oh, it's
be
huge,
honest.
yeah. Actually,
I have
so
friends that still watch Friends
The
and
number,
Frasier.
do you remember this? So the number one, the highest rated ER episode ever. So they say it's they made George Clooney. George Clooney was the episode where he has to save a kid from like a water storm drain. Do you remember watching that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the only episode of ER I remember.
So apparently,
and
that,
I was
like something like 45 million viewers or something like that. Like it's something stupid. Like it was like literally everyone in the world or like in North America, we had to watch that night. And it was George Clooney's basically his rise to stardom. Because after that, he started getting movie parts and became kind of a bigger star and like a big celebrity. And they say that was kind of like his breakout kind of role, that breakout episode. And the fact I'm like, I've seen that episode. I'm like, what the hell? So like they must have just promoted it really well or something, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was also like the season finale or something.
No. It was a sweep week, right? So it's that week in November when they're trying to sell stuff. So I listened to this show. It's called 30-20-10. It's a pop cultural time machine. For the last 10 years, they went back and they've talked about this week in pop culture, 30, 20, and 10 years ago. Ha, cute. They've almost done. They're done. They have a couple more weeks left, and then they've done literally the last 10 years. So they're like, well, we're not going to talk about the last 10 years of pop culture. And like we've already talked about the 30 and 20 now, right, as it would be. So they're just done. And they just mentioned the show back in like November. So that's why I know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, anyways, top cartoons that came out this year that started was Kevin Spencer, Powerpuff Girls, Roly Poly Oly, Wild Thornberries, and Cat Dog.
Cat dog. Cat dog.
Was it funny?
Yeah.
Was it not? They had toys one time at KFC, so yeah.
I think it was Burger King. And you could get a cat dog
What?
clock
Clock?
that was like furry in a way. Yeah, we all had that disgusting toy. And we're like, but it tells the time.
But I need to see what it looks like or my brain's not going to like this. So cat, dog. I think KFC toy.
I think it was Burger King.
Nickelodeon, fast food, premium. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the KFC. We're just going to do cat, dog,
Yeah.
fast food.
Yeah, it was Burger King.
Was? Damn it. Normally I'm
Yeah.
right about everything. Oh, the complete set. Wow. Oh, yeah. That furry little clock. Let me see you. Yeah, neat. Yep, it kind of looked exactly like I thought. Awesome. Cool. Cat Dog. Burger King. Yippee! Top movies that were released. So this week, you could see Cube. I love Cube. Rounders and Simon Birch. Still in theaters, you could see Blade, Avengers, and Snake Eyes.
Okay. You know what? Not too bad of movies.
I don't know if I saw them, but I definitely watched enough TV this summer. I definitely was watching lots because I was like Avengers, and I was like, "How now, brown cow?" There's a commercial with Uma Thurman, and she's saying that, and that just is in my head when I think of Avengers. So,
Got you. I remember like there's like weird like people running around in like teddy bear costumes.
yeah.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, if you waited a couple weeks, you could see Rush Hour, Urban Legends, and Ants. So we definitely saw Ants in theaters, and maybe Rush
Yeah,
Hour
I've-
actually.
I've eventually seen all these movies.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Maybe not Simon Birch, because is Simon Birch the one where he hits a baseball and it hits that lady in the head and kills her?
Maybe, or is that the one where he's like? Is that the dancing boy? Because there's a couple. There's Simon Birch and there's like another one. Yeah. Okay.
Simon Birch.
I don't care. I care less about Simon Birch. I'm going to move on to the games. Top video games. So released this month, we saw Metal Gear Solid, Pokemon Yellow, Madden NFL 99, Gex Enter the Gecko, and NHL 99.
I am pretty sure Simon Birch is the one where he hits a baseball
sure.
and it. Yeah.
What's the dancing boy? Billy Elliot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So anything?
Good video games.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got stuck on Simon Birch. Good video games. Like, I mean, who doesn't love Metal Gear Solid? Pokemon Yellow is like the game that we all had in our Game Boys at that time. And Gex. Who doesn't love some Gex? I'm sure we'll be playing that eventually. Or have we played it? Couldn't tell you. It all blurs.
There, Hexen, Gex, and there's another N64 game that we had that we kind of suffered our way through. That wasn't very good. At some point we should look at them, but I also
I'm gonna pressure you to play these terrible things. If you're making me play Donkey Kong 64, I'm making
I
you play
think
Hexen.
what we might do is we might start implementing a policy where we can nope out. And when we're playing a game and it just kind of sucks, we can nope out of it in the review and just like state, and this is when I noped out. And you're like, okay, so after this, let's just, the rest of the walkthrough, okay, maybe we'll skip some sections, just talk about stuff, talk about frustrations we were having, right? So in theory, playing Donkey Kong, give it a good fair share. And after a couple hours, you're like, I beat this whole first world. I can't do it again. Nope out, right? And I think that's fine, as long as we give everything a fair chance. So Gex Enter the Gecko seems like one of those. I'd run around the hub level. I'd try maybe every world once, and I'd be like, and done.
Yeah. Which is fair.
Yeah.
Which is very, very fair.
So anyways, just food for thought. Maybe something that's coming in the future. But now that we know what the pop cultural landscape looks like, and you're like, oh man, I remember wanting Pokemon Yellow. Pikachu follows you around. That's great. Exactly where we would have been. So some of the development details of the show. Of this game. So Spyro was the third title after Disruptor and Something that Insomniac Games made. Sony wanted a kid-friendly character to balance out Crash's more edgy tone. Early Spyro was green, but it became hard to make it look good against the green background, so they gave him his iconic purple. The worlds were meant to be open and airy and not claustrophobic like Crash, so they were very aware that they were going with Crash Bandicoot as kind of their main mascot against Nintendo and Mario, but obviously they were trying to add to the cast of characters with Spyro. The most impressive feature was the opening streaming tech that made levels look larger than they were through clever low-poly design and continuous memory streaming. This is a huge achievement for 1998 hardware. Spyro's original voice actor was Carlos Alvarez from Reno 911. Many dragons share the same body type, only hats, colors, and animations change. There is an internal debate about giving Spyro visible teeth. They couldn't decide because it made him look too mean. And early prototypes had Spyro swimming badly. They cut it and saved it rather for the sequel, Spyro 2.
You know what? That's a smart decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, like technically, or on a technical level, when this came out, it was very, very impressive.
Yeah.
And even playing it today, it feels very much like a seamless transition. The Reignited trilogy, like when you go through a portal, like you kind of like go into like this like flying animation, and then you land. Mm-hmm. So it feels very seamless. And I appreciate that. Like obviously they put a lot of effort into it to try to make it seem as one as a whole world, as opposed to like, you go through a door, takes you to a loading screen, you jump into the game. Mm-hmm. They really did try to push the limits of it, and I think they did a very good job.
My only, in terms of hardware, we're going to talk about it. Why were the loading times so bad in the Reignited trilogy? They were so long. Every level, I'm like flying through the air, and I'm like, why does this exist? Shouldn't it be instantaneous? And I don't know about you, but every time I started on my Switch 2, my copy of Spyro, the Toys for Bob, the frame rate drops to nothing. Like you see Spiral kind of drive by and like a couple of the letters kind of like half spin. It's really weird. Do you have that? Or is it just me?
No, I didn't have that. I was playing it on my Xbox.
Maybe it's just
but
like
yeah, like
so.
I know when
Is
you
the
hop
Switch
into the
version
flight levels.
Right,
Probably just not optimized
That's what I mean,
efficiently.
yeah.
And to be honest, like the people, like this is the Call of Duty people here.
Yeah,
like,
it's okay.
do we really expect them to optimize anything?
Well,
I feel like
I just and like I'm kind of shitting on this, but maybe the Switch version is just inherently inferior, right? Yeah, Xbox,
could be.
PlayStation, it would just have been better, right? So I find that a lot, right? This like the different hardware processing, anyways. And there's another point, loading times. Oh no, and the toys, yeah, Toys for Bob, cool. Yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting series. We'll get into after we do maybe controls quick. We'll get into our first memories. We'll talk about what we remember from this game. But yeah, I think like Tyson kind of was like, "Hey, how do you like this game?" And my response was kind of quaint. I was like, "It's fine." In terms of like, would I rather play this or Gex? I would play this every day of the week.
yeah.
So that's for that. The controls of this game, though, so you can glide, you can charge, you have flame breath. It's a very simple moveset, responsive and clean. There are 3 types of collectibles. There's dragons, they're mandatory for progression. You have gems, which are currency, and for the 100% completion. And then we have dragon eggs via these blue little thieves. There's a hub-style world, and there are several portals within each world. Light puzzle platforming, simple enemy patterns, exploration, focused design. Those are the controls of Spyro.
Yeah, the first game's very basic.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. Even like the gliding, like you jump into you can glide to another area. In the second one, they kind of add like a little like hop you can kind of do at the end of your glide. I like this style because it made you feel clever when you like glide from an area to get to another area, and you're like, oh, there's a little ledge up there. I wonder if I can get up there if I'm climbing up there. So
there were a few mechanics. Like, did you ever use the barrel roll?
No.
Yeah, apparently that's the thing. And I was like, I was watching a review and someone was like, and you can do this. And I was like, I never barrel rolled. That's very odd, huh? Weird.
I bet you that would be very helpful with a few of the enemies that were
the timing.
relentless.
Yeah, the timing wise. Some of like the bigger, like the shooting guys, I think this is like the hardest ones. Like if you could, like jump to the side. Anyways. Yeah.
I was thinking of the dogs in that sheep level where they like
yeah.
jump from like 80 feet like they should be in the NBA. Like and they just like slam on you. It's like,
Sure.
I bet you if you like fire blasted them, rolled, and then fire blasted them again, it'd be
like
way
dead.
easier than just being like, well, I'm taking this hit.
Sure. Okay. But first memories of this game. So let's see what AI remembers first and foremost. So I had AI make me a skeleton, and then I basically changed most of it because it was just bad. But again, it's skeleton, whatever. Let's see what they remember. So Spyro was absolutely everywhere in the late 90s. If you owned a PS1, you knew this little purple guy. This was the height of the mascot wars. Mario versus Sonic versus Crash versus whoever else they had thrown at the wall. I didn't play Spyro as much as Nintendo stuff, but it was one of those games that always showed up at friends' houses. The colorful world, the music, the gliding, it stuck. Coming back for this episode, I was interested to look at how much DNA it shares with later open-world platformers.
Thanks, AI.
Does that sound like me? Am I an asshole? Like, are we just? Am
No,
I just an asshole?
you don't talk like this because it's kind of like fluffy, but at the same time, like
I obviously am. Yeah.
but I like how it's like I didn't play Spyro as much as Nintendo stuff. You're like, well, it does kind of know you.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's. I was like, how did you know that? It would show up at friends' houses. I don't think I ever saw a wild copy of Spyro. Like I see them in stores. Obviously, stood out right. Usually black packaging, especially on like the PS2 and forward, with this kind of this bright purple character sticking out. But here's mine. I saw the commercials. I know there was sheep commercials that they were little protests and said Spyro's bad. He's burning us, right? And I was always like, it's cute, right? That was cool. Didn't really have that game as a kid, just didn't have it. But we did have it on a demo disc, so I was able to play through the majority of probably the first hub world, maybe 1 or 2 stages, right? And felt pretty satisfied with the experience. I was like, I played Spyro. I don't have it. I didn't get into it. I've never owned the series, so that's kind of where like my nostalgia kind of ends. Is that little bit of demo discs? I think it's probably the same demo disc that had like a copy of Jersey Devil, right? So in my mind, Jersey Devil and Spyro kind of are in the same echelon of like PlayStation original.
What, a purple character that glides? Come on, Mick.
It does like some light platforming and stuff, and I'm like, and like probably has the same enemies. No, these aren't Norks. They're Jersey Devil enemies. Oh, okay. That's clever.
Yeah, they're pumpkin orcs. They're totally different. They just have a pumpkin on their head.
Okay, sure, if you say so.
My first memories is that demo disc.
Yeah.
See, I loved that demo disc, and I was like, wow, I wish I could play this game. Like, you can run all over, and you can glide, and you're basically like going outside the level. What a wild world we're living in. If this is technology. This is the next step of technology. It was all right. But I remember playing the heck out of that demo disc.
They were great back in the day. Like, it was, you had 2 games. Maybe one was a racing game. You're like, I don't like this racing game. And a demo disc, tons of items. You can just watch movies. You can see upcoming games. You can try other experiences. Super fun. Yeah. Apparently, demo discs were huge, too. It was one I was like, kind of wish you had more demo discs. Now they'd be useless to go play. It'd be like, I hate this. Just give me the whole game.
You know what? Actually, demos still kind of exist.
I was gonna say I have a VR that I bought when I visited you a couple years ago, and I have played through some demo games. So I went and just downloaded a bunch of games that were like, try this demo with this VR game, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably about as much as you need for a VR game. Like Office Simulator, play it for 5 minutes, and you're like, okay, the novelty's worn off. I don't need to spend $20. So it works. And yeah, I don't think you ever played it, bought it. Do you remember seeing like Riptor's Rage and stuff like that for sale or available places?
I don't remember that.
No?
I think the only time I have exposure to it was in those like gaming magazines where it's like Riptor's Rage, and I'm like, how many Spyro games are there? It's like, and it got to that point where like there's too many. We can play them all. Not playing them.
I mean, AI was pretty right. We played more Nintendo stuff, and you were fanboys. We've talked about this. We talked to this RE. Why didn't I play Silent Hill? Because Silent Hill's stupid. I'm an RE fan. RE's better, right? Those were the conversations. So why didn't I play Spyro and Crash? Because Mario's better. Like, I like Zelda. Right, and it's kind of that simple, that redundant, and I hate to be that reductive, but I think when you're a child, you kind of are, right? And you don't kind of see things greaterly. Plus, you don't limited inflow. I needed to get a new wrestling game every year. I couldn't get Spyro. I need SmackDown 4.
Yeah,
come on.
Well, we had
Rob
other
Van
priorities.
Dam is in this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I need to play the next Enix Squaresoft game because this is going to be a company that I love for the rest of my life, and I don't get extremely bitter and hate their crap now.
Yeah. Anyways, now that we kind of know what our first memory are, so let's talk about this very, very long game. I'm sure it will take lots of our time. And then, look at that. We don't have a game, but we're going to look at some dragons at the end. Pop culture dragons. Neat.
Nice.
Cool. So the story. The Dragon Realm comes under attack when the villain Nasty Nork turns almost every dragon into crystal statues. Why? Because some random film crew is interviewing the dragons, and they're just like, Nork? He sucks. Fuck that guy. And he's like, I'll show you.
What a lame loser.
Yeah.
Everybody hates that guy.
That's literally the story of this game. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. So with that, journey begins. We start in Artisan is the first area. It's like a green hill area. It's called Artisan Home, which has 4 dragons, and then we have 3 hub worlds: Stone Hill, Dragon or Dark Hollow, and Town Square. A flying level, and maybe a boss. I think that's how kind of each area works.
Yeah.
So, I was going to
4
say
levels. Yeah.
Yeah, let's try instead of, and we could do more, right? Like favorite parts. What are some of the favorite parts? And we'll do least favorite parts. We'll do kind of like the good and the bad of each little area. At least try and give one example of each. If there's more, perfect, great. So for myself, this first area, it is a great introduction to what they want you to do with this game. Every level is fair. The gems are achievable, right? It takes a little bit of exploration, but the levels are laid out fairly reasonably. Not a great challenge. Maybe the blue egg thieves are like the toughest part in this first area, right? So those kind of challenges. Least favorite part, probably the flying one.
Yeah, it's 99% of the time always going to be the flying level.
Well,
like the flying is just not fun. Here's a timed section where you have to unlock all these things, and if you kind of screw up once, you just kind of ruin your run. The only fun part about that is like when you hit the ground, Spyro does like, oh shoot, and like smacks the water. Sure. And you're like, that's a cute animation. So I think my favorite part, obviously, like I love the Artisans area. Like I think that's really cool. My favorite part is definitely Stone Hill. It's that place where we played in the demo.
Oh yeah.
It's got like, it's got a bunch of sheep running around. You got some wizards. You go up into a tower, fly up to like this like upper part in a little bowl area, and you can run around. I just remember that has like a lot of nostalgia for me. So I'm like, I think Stonehill's my favorite.
Yeah, I get that. Sure. Yeah. It's pretty fun. I found like the flying area. There's like a little puzzle. You have to jump some stones. I did that kind of just by accident. And I was like, neat. Cool. Great. Filled. That is Spyro. This isn't going to be too terrible. The only thing maybe is when I'm gliding, I forgot which button you press for him to drop. So sometimes I fell off ledges, which I hated. Yay. From there, though, we go to Peacekeepers, which is an ice area. We have the locations of Dry Canyon, Cliff Town, Ice. I feel like, was there a desert at some point?
So Peacekeepers is the open world with the guys with the cannons.
Yeah.
So
I just missed something. That's what's going on here, right? Yeah. No.
Yeah. Dry Canyon.
Because then
Town.
There's like the area.
Ice Cavern.
That's what's happened. I think in my notes we have another area. So we have Peacekeepers, right? Dry Canyon. Then this next one it says like Magic Crafters, but really there's an ice area in between there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
the
Magic Crafters, then Beast Makers, then Dreamweavers, then Nasty World.
Okay, so what's the second level?
Peacekeepers.
Okay, Peacekeepers. So that is the cannons. This area, was there anything super great that stood out? No. I did like the one area. It had kind of like the castles. It was kind of a big loop. And the last dragon was hidden in an area where you kind of have to run up a ramp, and then you use your momentum from the ramp to jump and glide around the corner to find it. Like, honestly, that was probably, like, I'd say the best. Maybe I was like, wow, what a fun little challenge.
That would be Dry Canyon.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty, like, interesting world. Lots of stuff to explore. It has that little castle that you got to go up on, and there's like that one ledge that like you have to kind of like really time your glide. Did you try? If you want to go really far distances, you got to glide at the top of your jump. Like,
yeah. So every time you rescue a dragon, you get kind of a little hint. They give you like a tip on how to complete something. Neat. Cool.
Oh, in the desert, you're thinking of Cliff Town.
Yes, and I figured out what it was. The next area we're going to is Magic Crafters is the ice world.
Yes.
It's Dreamweavers is when you're kind of like in the cloud and there's the guy with the magic gun that like shrinks skies. Yeah, yep. Okay. All right, yep, no, I'm on it. I didn't make a mistake. Yay. Good job, me. Least favorite part of this area? No.
The flight level. That's the default. Default. The fly levels are the worst part of this game.
I didn't. Maybe. I think actually I'd probably say the speed boosters, right? I like the mechanic. I don't love how they're implemented. I think some of the challenges they ask are like too great for the little that you do. Like in story, you have to use the boosters very minimally. Usually it's you run down them and you just land, right? Great, cool. I get it's a kid's game, so let's make it easy. But because you don't really like give me opportunities to just fail, to try again, to, I don't know, redo it. Just, I didn't get the experience. So some of the other challenges, I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to have this skill, right? So I did find that was, I'd probably say, probably my biggest, least favorite part was kind of the introduction of like the speed boosts. I don't think they were implemented well at all. Maybe 50% of the mechanics or like puzzles were fine, but 50% of them, I'm like, nah, man, I don't know how you're supposed to figure this out. So,
yeah. No,
okay.
It's I think the speed boosters are like a little bit finicky, where they're easy to screw up, and then all of a sudden you're just like charging directly into the bloody dirt or into a cliff, and you're like, well, that's a waste.
Yeah. Well, and actually, now that I mentioned it, I'm looking at maybe Magic Crafters, the next area. So this is kind of more of an ice level. We'll have Alpine Ridge, High Caves, and Wizard Peak. I believe this is actually where speed boosters start getting introduced. One of these ones, maybe Alpine Ridge, a little more. And I think there's one area where you have to be. Isn't this one has the spiders in like the high caves or something? And like you have to use the speed boosters and run through the spiders, or they're invincible, or you have to have the special dragon breath. And I was like, man, that seems really out there for a challenge. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that one's my least favorite, is the Wizard Peak with the spiders.
Yeah.
I don't like spiders.
Okay.
I don't like that. I can't destroy them with just my regular breath or my charge. You got to like do this a certain thing, and if you miss one, you're like, oh, hey, got to go back, get it, and then you just like have to, because I was going for 120% because it's an easier game.
Sure.
It was just like, what a pain in the butt this is.
Yeah, I mean, and that's I can appreciate that. I understand that. I wonder. I think one of these levels it was a fun maze. One of these areas, I think I had a good time exploring. Like I kind of got to the end, the first area, and I was like, oh, I missed a dragon. What do I have to do? And going back through and actually like exploring it for a second time was actually somewhat enjoyable. So that was, I think it was maybe Wizard Peak. It was the dragon in the cave kind of at the end, and the actual way is when you get to the ending, instead of going home, there's a little ramp and you can kind of glide over to this little area, and I ended up having to use a platform that the wizard was raising to try and jump into there. I like that. It was a good challenge. Yeah, I think that assuming that's the place you're like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that place, right? I think that was probably my favorite part of this Magic Crafters, and the boosts were my least favorite. From there, though, we ended up to Beast Makers, so now we're in a swamp. And we get to Terrace Village, Misty Bog, and Treetops.
Yeah, interesting little like swampy area.
Yep.
I always appreciate, got some variety. I think that cool open world is kind of like an Aztec swamp area. You got to make sure that you're doing your jumps correctly, because if you fall in the water, you just start taking damage. So you can easily just like lose a life if you just don't time it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I appreciate the variety. The first one's kind of like a very green, like a hills and some fun with some like random stuff mixed in, and then the next one's very ice flavored. This is very swamp and like wooden structures. So it's interesting. I think the one that I don't like is the treetops.
Yeah, that was gonna be
easy to screw up the speed boosts.
Yep. Well, and there's one that's like complicated. I couldn't get the last dragon in this area, or the last like I was missing some gems maybe, and there was just one last little, and I couldn't figure out how to get that ledge, and I was like, no, that doesn't give me enough space. That's too far away. So missing, I obviously have to like kind of jump and turn sharply, right, and glide. But whatever. I was gonna say that, but I was like, I don't want to just be repetitive and just blame the. We get it. Speed boosts are not the greatest thing ever invented. Something else that I didn't like. No, the village was fine. If this was the one that had the, I don't think they have guns yet. They just have shock paddles, right? I think I didn't like the beasts. I'm gonna say the beasts that maybe the warthogs that like challenged you as soon as you landed. They like charged you, and if you weren't charging at them, they would like hit you. I think those are probably my least favorite part of this area.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
And I missed maybe one of the portals. I think I missed, maybe it was Treetops. It's kind of like behind the tree. And I ended up going and fighting Metalhead and then finding the dragon guy. And he was like, you need to find one more dragon. Or the balloon guy. And I'm like, but I beat all the levels. Found Treetops, obviously. Got the dragons. Was fine. But that's my least favorite part. Dreamweaver. So this is the area I was confused about. So you're kind of these floating platforms in the air. In the middle platform, there's a little wizard guy on this like magic cannon. And he's just shooting magic shots all at all of the enemies. So it makes them bigger, larger. Some become invincible when they're larger. Some get out of ways. Some like knock through some obstacles for you. So it's some decent timing in this little hub world. Probably the most interactive of the hub worlds. And we see Dark Passage, Lofty Castle, and Haunted Towers as our 3 areas.
Yeah. I think it's Dark Passage has you making a lot of like really like blind leaps of faith, hoping that you didn't screw it up. Which can be frustrating, but you know, it's not too hard. And I think there's also like the orcs with like the balloons or whatever they're flying around. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like I like how they're kind of trying to get creative with the villains, and they're taking like these simple like orc designs and they're just kind of building upon them. I'm trying to nitpick in a game that I really enjoy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's the part of just the reviewer, right? We're supposed to sit here and be like, this game was fine. It was really fun, but you know, you have to have a good and a bad, and show that, you know, we've sat and thought about things, right? So, but it is tough too when you have a good experience to be like, yeah, I guess criticism is nothing. Yeah. So I get that. I don't remember any of these. Like, I'd say maybe my least favorite part is the hub. No, I liked the hub world was my favorite part. I love the hub world. I like that this one made you think. There was 2 enemies that you had to stand by. I think they were like big guards, and the magic guy would shoot them. And then you could destroy them, right? So it was kind of a little bit of timing, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of thought. I liked exploring that. And what didn't I like? Apparently I didn't like that any of these memories or levels were memorable. I don't know if I just played them on like a bad day and wasn't paying attention or something, but literally I'm looking at a guide here and I'm like, I kind of, I guess, remember playing this, but I don't really remember this level, which is odd for a game that's pretty short that only has, I don't know, 18 stages, to have 3 stages just literally blank. Oh, the one with the big guards, and you have to have the special magic breath. Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's like a like I don't know. They have some interesting like character designs where I remember this character, like little devil looking guy. It's like, but I don't remember all the little like nitty gritty things because everything's super quick. Like you fly through it. Sometimes like you can get 100%, get all the gems, collect all the dragons, maybe catch an egg thief, and then you're like, well, on to the next one. And it just like, because it doesn't feel like structured, like you can do 100% on everything, and then it's just like, well, you can keep running around. It doesn't like help you progress. I just generally don't feel like I'm like, it doesn't seem super memorable. Even like the dragons are all very unique, the enemies all really unique, like the worlds that they're trying to build are clever. Yeah, it just flies by, and I think that's kind of my criticism of this game is it just doesn't have a lot of meat to the potatoes.
Oh, very much, and it's like kind of a fluff, like a low calorie experience, no nutrition, or high calorie, no nutrition, right? Where afterwards you're just like, yeah, I guess I don't need to play that. Like, one level isn't better than the other. It doesn't provide a whole lot of extra challenge. It is just kind of rinse and repeat quite a bit, right? Explore through these early stages. I don't know if other Spyro games are a bit more interactive, longer, probably, right? This is probably like bare bones flesh. Like, they were just trying to get a game that went in a straight line. I weren't worried so much about it turning left yet. But that just leaves us with the last area of the game, which is Nasty World. So Nork's own little place. We have to go through the Nork Nexus, the Nork Cave, the Twilight Harbor, fight Nasty Nork before we get to his loot. Nasty's loot. Favorite area of this game?
We haven't mentioned really any of the boss battles.
Yep. Because every boss battle is just, you kind of run up to a guy and you flame him. And then he runs away.
Yep.
And then it's just repeat. Yeah. Maybe
do that 3 times and you're done.
Maybe it was the blowy guy. What was his name? Blowhard? Yeah, Blowhard from Magic Crafters. That I feel like he was like a little wizard guy or something, and you had to like, no, he was just a tornado. Who was the guy that you had to fight? And it was like a big kind of like room above lava, and you had to like climb and do some platformings to get him.
What's that?
Jacques?
Jacques.
And then I only got one dragon in that fight. I don't know where the other dragon is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Jacques.
Jacques.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Well,
I like the toasty one most because it's like the scary skeleton, and as you like flame him, he eventually becomes like, oh, it's just a sheep on some some stilts, and you're like, that's funny.
Yeah.
But as for like levels, I think this is the one that has the giant. Is this the one that has the giant ship where they're like clearly like loading supplies or whatever, and you gotta like blow it up and disrupt what they're doing, and you come across some guys that have some guns.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that's probably, yeah, maybe. What is this one called? This first one? York Nexus? Maybe this is where the guys with the guns. Yeah. And that was definitely more of a challenge. Once they started shooting at you, you're like, oh, this is actually kind of tough. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Twilight Harbor. I'm
Okay.
looking at a little walkthrough
Yeah.
and I see a couple. There's the guys with like the sludge guns.
Yeah.
Who are
Yeah.
clearly like Splatoon clearly ripped this off.
Yep.
And they should sue. And it was the Nork Cove is the one where they're like loading the ship.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, very interesting world. Like
Yeah.
obviously this reminds me of like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
You know, where like
Yeah.
the end of Donkey Kong, like the crocs are very like industrial.
Yeah.
And like everything's metal. And they're like trying to like trying to push their industrial revolution upon this happy world where like the dragon world is very like, oh, it's a green like area with sheep. And
98. Oh no, we saw Donkey Kong 3. Donkey Kong Country 3 is out by now. I was like, oh, maybe it came between like 2 and 3. That's like more of a, but no, clearly it just, industrialization is bad. Bad.
Yeah.
And finally, those areas were kind of neat, cool, fun, hard. The final level sees you chase Snork. First, you have to chase 2 little egg guys to get some keys to unlock 2 doors. Not terrible, which is good, though, because it kind of gives you practice of chasing someone with boost. Weird. Before you have to chase Nork around a little level, you smack him with flame once. Don't hit him. Don't hit him. You got to blast him with fire. I forgot that. And then he kind of retreats. You get to a final stage, and I'll be honest with you, it's tough platforming. You're challenged. These little platforms are shrinking. There's lava. When you screw up, you're like, I got to catch both keys and catch Nork again and do this. And then you fall in the pit right before him, and you just quit, and you don't beat Spyro the Dragon for the podcast.
That's fair. Because this is one of those ones where like you have to time it right.
It took me 4 attempts. So first time I got right to the end, and first one I just glided over the platforms because I didn't know what stop gliding was. And I was like, if you wanted me to do specific platforming, this should have been like a challenge that you introduced earlier in the game and like focus on. God damn it. Cool. I put it down. A couple days later, I pick it up. Like, I got this. Get right to the end, fall in the lava. And I was like, no, I'm done. So then finally a third time, same thing, fell over the pit. And I was like, no, I've got this. And I did complete it on my 4th attempt. But it took me like multiple days.
That's fair. It can be very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
Then after you defeat Nasty Nork, who's just an orc with some armor, then you go to Nasty's loot.
If you have 100%,
a bunch of stuff.
If you have 100%, that's the last layer. So if you beat Nasty Nork without 100%, Spyro returns to the interview from the game and he says, I beat Nasty Nork's butt, but there's still a lot of things I can get if I get 100%. And I'm like, okay. So then Tyson went along and got 100%. And what does it unlock? Another area
Nasty's loot. Just literally a loot room where you run around, gather like a bunch of loot.
Cool.
Catch a couple guys who the egg catchers have keys.
Oh, yeah.
We came across that, but it just has tons and tons of loot. Like I think this one has 2,000 gems.
Yeah.
No dragons.
Yeah.
So just like run around, gather all the loot, and then it gives you 120% of the game because you went above and beyond. Not necessary, but
that's good that we got through it that way. I kind of laid out our notes a little differently, like Tyson just alluded to. He knew how many gems because I just kind of pulled all the stats for each area. So roughly we could say, oh, this one had like 5 dragons. Oh yeah, I remember that area with lots of dragons, sure. Rather than like usually I write like specific descriptions of each area. We kind of got through it. Okay. But the ending, you ride back at the camera queue, interview at the beginning. You say you need to get more treasure. Then you get that, and then you get a new ending credits.
Yep. On to the next game of this trilogy, which
Guess you're short.
well, yeah, if you want to.
Current thoughts. So
The
this
second one's not as good as the first. So
yeah. Okay. Now, so this is a pretty solid 3D platformer, if I'm being honest. Usually early platformers have issues that weren't perfect. But outside of literally 6 big problem spots in the game, through combat platforming challenges, that I just generally don't think the game was fair. And I counted, and I made a note, and it was 6. Take rid of those 6, I'm like, oh, that's pretty good, right? No, it's nothing revolutionary. It's nothing game-breaking. You made a very basic platformer. Congratulations. You made a competent game. I don't know why we're applauding that, but yeah, early 3D games. Sometimes, what the heck is going on here? You're like, that was not complete at all. So the fact they did that is awesome. The game looks very calming, and I think it holds up. I mean, for like the PS1 version, if you had this game as a kid, I could see you loving Spyro. He's great. He's cute. He's got some attitude. The level's beautiful. It's very cute little worlds. If you're a Spyro fan, I understand it. You probably had it when you were younger, and I wasn't for me then, and for now I can go back and play it and appreciate it. And I think it's not Mario 64 quality by any means in terms of 3D platformers, but it's better than Gex, right? Way better than Gex. It's probably better than Banjo. So
yeah, I mean, I really like this game. I think it's just like a chill game. Like, it's not too difficult. Like, you hit a couple hurdles every now and then, and minus the flying levels, it's like this game's easily wrapped. It's not hard. It's a game that kind of it's a time filler with a good soundtrack. It's a cute little world. All the dragons usually say something kind of funny. Spyro's got some attitude. But yeah, like, it is a pretty basic in today's standards, like, platformer game. But I kind of appreciate that as just being like a solid experience that you can pick up, wrap in a couple hours, or you could take your time and just enjoy it. And I think, like, for a younger audience, this is a great, like, starter game. So
yeah, awesome, cool. Yeah, and I think if you were a younger person who had a younger kid at one point who had just a PlayStation, you would probably feel a little, not outed, but you'd feel like there was less for you, right? So yeah, maybe your dad has it and he plays Twisted Metal and like Final Fantasy VII. That's too intense. This would be the perfect game that you'd be like, oh, this is a very calming experience. I love it. It's great. What would I change? I would just add a tracker. Just show me how much jewels and eggs and dragons I need. It could just be balloons on a door or something. Just give me some indication that I'm like headed in the right direction, that I'm done, that an area, I've had enough dragons to move on to the next area, right? Show me, to get to magic crafters, you'll need 50 dragons. Oh, okay, I better start collecting them, right? Show me those progression points so that I kind of am not just aimlessly collecting things. And I think I would like this game better. But it was like the aimless collection that's just a collectathon to collectathon. And I'm like, do I have to collect gems? Is it important? Are eggs important? I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it was so vague, I would have liked to have a little bit more indication of what am I doing? Why am I doing these things?
yeah, and for me, kind of along the same lines, is when you finished a level, it'd been nice to kind of like have something, like, but it's just like, oh, you collected the last gem or you collected the last dragon. And you're like, okay, back to running around. I think I'm done here. Gonna go back to the main level. It's like, it doesn't really, like, there's no like satisfying end to any of the levels. Like, even when you beat the bosses, it's kind of like just like, well, on to the next stage. And I feel like they could have done a little bit more with just like the presentation of like, oh, hey, thanks for saving our area, Spyro, or something. And you're just like, give me some sort of resolution and some sort of like narrative to kind of drive me forward.
Sure.
Whereas I don't feel like there's that. I feel like it's just like, go into this area, collect all the things, move on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Conveyance, I believe is what they call that. Are you buying it? So that kind of wraps up our review of the show. If we're at Are You Buying It? So all we've got left is a little bit of fan theory, and we're not playing a game, so we're not going to ramble at the end. So hopefully done back in... No, let's finish the show before I tell you guys what's going on. And are you buying it? So we carry into the series, we get tons of theories about a child abduction / trafficking beach theory. A theory that is this land is a post-apocalyptic world, hence all the ruins, gems, and lack of humans, although they do appear scarcely in some future levels. So if we did carry on to Spyro, they get pretty crazy. Mainly there's one level where there's, I think they're otters or something like that, and they're like capturing all the baby turtles and putting them in boxes and like loading them on a ship, and that's like the area you have to kind of save. It's like the turtles' breeding ground. So either they're selling the turtle children or they're eating the turtle children. So it's kind of dark.
Yeah. Definitely has some ideas of like a lore and world they're building, and that's neat. So
yeah, sweet.
I just wish it was more explained.
And there's lots of games. There's actually some of the theories are like, do these games match with these titles? Because they do play around with the timeline and they add some elements. So going back to the rest of the series, you'd be like, oh, there's some like fun lore, and they jump around a little bit and do tell some stories, right? But with that, we'll get to a cultural significance. And in this section, we look at the game design, the lore, inspiration, turning points, interesting stories. Talk about how this game relates, give other examples, and tie it all back together in the end. I really laughed on our RE4 show when I got to turning points, and I was like, guys, this is what I've been saying this whole time. It's this show. This wasn't that show, though. I don't know exactly what this is. So we've got two options from our friends at ChatGPT, and then we're going to look at the top 10 pop culture dragons, or at least from literature at the end. So option A, legacy / cultural impact. All right, so option 1, strong cultural significance. So Spyro became one of PlayStation's signature mascots, standing shoulder to shoulder with Crash in defining the PS1 era. The game helped solidify the 3D platformer template outside Nintendo hardware. Streaming technology influenced future Insomniac titles like Ratchet and Clank. I was just going to say, with a little more story, this would feel a lot like Ratchet and Clank, huh? Neat. Spyro's drawn 2 direct PS1 sequels, multiple handheld games, a reboot, and eventually the Skylanders franchise, a $1 billion toy-to-life juggernaut. The 2018 reignited trilogy revived interest and introduced Spyro to a whole new generation. So that's the strong cultural significance of Spyro. Yeah, I guess he's still around today, huh? Okay.
Yep. Well, the whole Skylanders thing,
which
was really big, and then nowhere.
But like the weird thing with Spyro is in Skylanders, and it was Spyro the Dragon with Skylanders, and then it just became Skylanders, and it was like less about Spyro. Very, very cool introduction to a world. Just weird that's where it came from, right? So yeah, but that's probably a big part of that, and probably actually had I thought put some time to it, we probably could have talked like between Amiibos, Disney Infinity, and Skylanders, just these weird ass franchises that exist. I have one that's like, I don't know what it is, but it's a Star Fox ship, and like apparently you're supposed to be able to like buy a game, and then you play and you can like build a little ship, and you can like add parts to your toy ship, and you get a better ship in the game. That's like a weird box. That's a thing we could have talked about, but we're not going to. So maybe, do you have anything to say about cultural significance?
No, kind of was a big thing in the 90s and early 2000s, and then eventually just like drifted away into the ether. So it was nice to have him kind of get that reignited trilogy kind of come back, so we can kind of just like get access to these games, because both him and Crash just disappeared. Just disappeared off the face of this earth, whereas like, you know, the Nintendo mascots are still around to today.
Well, and like PlayStation just never could pick someone too, right? Like they never gave us the best Crash game. They never launched. It was like, well, now Nathan Drake's our protagonist, and God of War guy. Yeah, exactly. Kratos. And I was like, I guess, but like those are just new IPs, right?
Well, that was that whole like death of the PlayStation All-Stars. You're like, look at all these characters.
Yeah.
It's like,
Sackboy.
These are our mascots? You're like,
Sackboys. Look how cute they are. They're running like this. Like, what if he just made Yoshi out of yarn? Oh,
or even like the Sly Coopers of the world. You're like,
sure,
these are good games. Yeah. But then PlayStation just said, let's try this new character. And you're like, that's not how this works.
And I guess it's different though, because
you have a mascot, you're supposed to keep investing in these characters.
But I guess it's different because they never owned any of these characters. They were all independent like studios and stuff that just made games for them exclusively. So it's not like you actually own them, so you don't want to promote them too heavily and make that your only brand, because then they could leave, right? Whereas Nintendo, because it's all in house, so maybe that's what Sony needed to do, was develop some more first person games, right? Rather than work on like the Spider-Mans, which are great games. Awesome. Good job, Sony. You guys killed it. That's an amazing experience. But you know what I mean? Like if they would have worked and tried to just create their own rather than source it, maybe that'd be different, right? But anyways, option B, modern cultural significance. So Spyro was popular and beloved, but didn't fundamentally reshape platformers the way Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie did. Sony's mascot marketing pushed him into the spotlight, but outside of the PlayStation bubble, his influence was quieter. The reignited trilogy shows that nostalgia is real, but Spyro's impact is more of a cult favorite than genre defining. That's kind of what we were just saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Sweet. All right. Do you want to look at some best pop culture dragons from literature?
Sure.
It's not a game. It's a list. Yeah, cool. Awesome. So, starting at number 10, I don't know where it was from. Number 10, we have Tiamat, the dragon from D&D.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I've heard of Tiamat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's why I was like, yep, okay, cool. Now, there's a couple where I'm like, we'll go to number 9, which is Toothless. He's the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I mean...
We didn't talk about that on our year-end review show.
Because I forgot it came out.
Yeah, well... But apparently it's like literally a scene-for-scene remake of the original, animated just in live action, but it's like CGI. So basically it's just animation, but with a man. But people say... Which is like... But people are saying literally the best live action adaptation that is existed. Like, if you liked How to Train Your Dragon, you'll like this, because essentially it's just the exact same movie.
Yeah, well, and that's why, like, I don't know. I look at those things and you're like... We used to dump on movies that were just essentially shot-for-shot remakes. Like, I think it was, the Psycho one remake with...
Lars Van Trier or whatever, with Vince Vaughn, that basically ruined his career after he made... whatever his first movie was, like, it was a breakout. And then that was his second film, and it just basically killed his career. Yeah,
and then he had to eventually, like, rebound his career, but as the director essentially just like disappeared. We used to dump on that. If you don't do something new or interesting with the franchise, what are we doing? So to me, it's like, sure, Toothless is cool. Like he's fast. The first How to Train Your Dragon was like an interesting movie. I do not think of it ever.
But it is funny that we go through all of this. What do you want to say?
It was Gus Van Sant.
Yes, I'm also doing that. Yeah, Gus Van Sant. He had, looks like, Good Will Hunting. So maybe it was Good Will Hunting, and he went from that into Psycho. Because after Good Will Hunting, they're like, you can do whatever you want. You're awesome. So okay.
He made Finding Forrester, and that was fine. But then it was just like, I'm making indie movies.
Yeah. Anyways, yes. So sorry. Yeah, I also looked that up because I was like, I don't know if it is whatever the guy said. It's interesting that they've made all these live action remakes, and finally the one that's straight 1-to-1, that's the one everyone likes. And I'm kind of like, so the point is, this is unnecessary, I think, right? We can all agree. Yeah, cool. Okay, so maybe they'll do new things. I don't think they will. How about number 8, Mushu from Mulan?
Yeah, he's a dragon, right?
I guess. Is he more popular than Toothless? Seems odd. How about number 7, Ying Long, the dragon from The Song of Chu? Are you familiar with that ancient Chinese text?
Unfortunately, I am not.
No? How about number 6 and 4? We'll just get through those right now. So number 6 is Zulong. The dragon from the classic of Mountains and Seas, also a very, very classic Chinese literature. Or Vritra from Rig Vela, that ancient dragon as well.
Couldn't tell you.
Okay. But I included them on the list anyways because, maybe I wanted to sound smart. But we could get to number 5, which is the dragon from Beowulf.
There's a dragon in Beowulf?
Well, you see, I see. So historically, the story of Beowulf is he fights Grendel, but he overcomes Grendel, which is his greatest accomplishment, but ultimately falls to the dragon because he wasn't able to overcome him. So Ha! Clearly, your Beowulf needs some brushing up.
Well, I remember the reading it in high school.
Yep.
And then I remember that terrible movie that came out in
Yep.
like 2007 with Angelina Jolie.
Uh-huh.
I think I was more fascinated with how Angelina Jolie
Came out of
looked
the
in that.
water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
like, the scene
Ooh,
resonates
but
with
that was
me.
also gross CGI, where it was like a man, but they just like made his face a computer, so it doesn't look very good. Yeah. Anyways, apparently
Yes.
Beowulf, the guy dies to a dragon. Okay, who knew? Top three though, we can maybe talk about these. They're fun. Number three, everyone's favorite flying dragon, Falkor from the Never-Ending Story.
Oh, man. They're going to make me sad.
Yeah. What? Why?
Well, because for whatever reason, I just feel like in the never-ending story, everybody's like, we're dying. Please save us. We're dying. And I'm just like, oh, no, not Falkor.
But the point of the story is, if you use your imagination and you believe, the story will never die, I think.
Yeah.
But also,
and
it's...
you name it Star Child, Moon Child.
Yeah, it is.
That's the name.
Child! That's his mom's name.
That's the name of his mom. And you're like, man, your mom was a hippie. No wonder
Yeah.
she's not around. She
I know.
abandoned you, child.
Yeah. Good old moon child. To Falkor. Falkor! I personally love Neverending Story 4 when the little rock people come to the real world and they go to the mall.
I like Jack Black in the third one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. There was a third one. Number two is Haku, the dragon from Spirited Away.
Spirit. Oh, okay. Yeah. And she's like riding on his back, and she's like, "I know your name. Your name's this." He's like, "Bitch, I'm flying. Why are you doing this to us? We're gonna crash." It's like, that's a great scene.
Yeah. And then obviously the number one most popular pop culture dragon, at least from literature. You're throwing literature out there, maybe even some other medias, right? Because, well, the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, we know. It's Smaug, played by
Smaug.
the one and only Benedict Cumberbatch, who does, if you want to see some really fun behind the scenes footage, watch Benedict Cumberbatch act out Smaug, because they have him in like a CGI suit and he's like crawling around and talking, and I'm like, you could just probably have done these lines in a studio, dude. Like, we could have done, like, I know you're trying to go for the Andy Serkis Gollum thing, but it's pretty funny. So yeah, good old Smaug from The Hobbit, which also a pretty delightful little story.
Yeah, maybe a movie too long.
But
movies
movies are terrible. Go read the book though, and you're like, great.
The book's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
book
Like
is
the
great.
book specifically. Like, I will stand up and be like, I love Lord of the Rings. It's great. It's a tome though of walking and talking, and like, yeah, it's world building, but there's lots of it. Whereas The Hobbit's just a clean, quick story that it's great from everyone's point of view, right? Little guys, older guys, everyone can enjoy that. So sad that movies weren't better, but yeah, no, Smaug in terms of literary. Yeah, with the popularity of Lord of the Rings, definitely the most pop culture. That one I'll say. These other ones I'm like, I don't know. And there was lots of like Zulongs and Yinglongs that I just was like, I'm not going to look at all 75 options and just pick out stuff I know. So
Yeah, well, dragons are popular.
Yep.
They're in dang near almost every fantasy, even like sci-fi like genre. They were like, can we shove a dragon in this? I'm surprised that Shenron, the dragon from Dragon Ball Z, is not on here. But then again, it's like,
Yeah.
for his 3 scenes in that 700 episode, yeah. So
yeah.
it's I understand, but I also like to make fun. I like to poke fun. There's a lot of dragons. Pick your favorites. Leave us a comment if you got a favorite and you're like, how could you have forgotten about one of the other 1,000? Yeah.
Jonathan Brigsby the Dragon. No, that's actually the name of Mrs. Brigsby's husband from Secret of Nim. It's not a dragon. But the cat's name is Dragon, so I could see how you'd remember Jonathan Brigsby.
Yeah.
Is it weird
Yeah.
that I have that much knowledge of The Secret of Nim? Do you think that movie had an effect on me as a child? Should we not let children watch that? Yeah.
But the question is, which one do you prefer? The second
Oh, the
one
second.
or the first one? Yeah, the second one's
Yeah,
the best.
It's like American Tail or Fievel Goes West. Fievel Goes West all day.
Yeah, it's like I like the one with the goofy singing while shooting guns.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I want. I want to, yeah. Anyways, cool. That wraps up our show on Spyro. Last numbered show of the year. We're back in the new year with kind of a fun game, so that'll be good. But yeah, now that this is done, we'll say goodbye. We're actually going to see you guys a bunch at the end of the year, right? We get like a year-end review. We'll do a tiers list, and then we have like an actual show all kind of back to back to back. So take a little break. Hopefully everyone has a good Christmas. If you got Reignited Trilogy, a couple hours, you can have Spyro wrapped. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah.
Take care. Stay safe. Spend some time with your loved ones. And see y'all in the new year.
Sounds good. Okay, bye.